Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see by the title of the video, I'm going to be doing an ex-best friend story time, which this has been the most like pushback video, I guess if you want to call it that, just simply because I've never wanted to do it. Whatever, I just want to get it over with. So yeah, let's just get started. As you guys can see by the great joy on my face, this video is actually, no, seriously sad because this person was somebody in my life who I thought was gonna be in my life forever and is no longer there, and to this day we don't speak. So yeah, a long time ago I actually moved to this school. I kind of mentioned this in my previous video that I was the new girl in 3rd grade, and me and this girl, I'm calling my ex-best friend, there's no other way to put it, we actually went to that same school. I just didn't know her then, but she was there from the very beginning. Fast forward to middle school. I want to say this was 8th grade, if I'm not mistaken, because I think that's when we got close, when we actually developed a friendship. This was our last year in middle school because we had developed such a strong friendship and everything that we were like, oh my gosh, what if we're not friends anymore in high school? Because that can happen, and it actually did happen with some of my other friends, which is sad. But at the time it didn't with me and her. We had classes together. I think we even had homeroom together, which was crazy because at my middle school we had like Olympics where I don't know. And like I said, that's a whole nother story time of my 8th grade teacher. But what was fun about that year too was we also, if you were in like the choir or band, I believe, I forget what the rule was, if you had done like the whole 3 years, or if you, I don't even know, but I knew at the end of the year, I think it was kind of like a send-off for the 8th graders, I don't even know, you got to either pick if you wanted to go to Disney or Six Flags. And at the time I had the same orchestra. Ew, our middle school, they called us orchidorks, and the band were band geeks. But I was also in the choir, which is a separate thing. But I was in the orchestra with my ex-best friend and my cousin, because me and him, we were in the same grade level, all of us. But I don't believe either one of them was in choir. I remember. For sure not my cousin. I don't know about my ex-best friend. And so we all decided, like, yeah, we're hitting Six Flags. That's where it's at. Which is funny because now, me being a Disney lover, I love Disney, I would pick Disney. No, but at the time it was actually super fun. We had to wear like those bright colored shirts so you don't get lost and you know where everybody is. And we rode the bus together, and it was super fun. It was actually probably like the best time ever. It's crazy to think that we did that. We were pretty young, I guess you could say. And we moved on into high school. And this is where really, in my opinion, the story commences. I'm gonna try to not leave out bits and pieces. It's kind of a lot. Like I said, this is like years of friendship. So yeah. I remember we actually lived literally like across the street. Not like literally as in like, here's my house, here's her. No, like you actually had to cross a real street where you had to be careful because there was cars going this way, cars going that way. But it was like really close, if that makes sense. And so since we lived around the same area, the bus would always pick us up, and we rode the same bus all throughout high school. So we got lucky in that sense, that we were together in that sense. And you know, you try to find any which way where like, oh, we have this together, we have that together, you know, to keep the friendship alive. And same with my cousin, I also rode the bus with him and things like that. So we were all kind of like together still, thankfully. And I was actually really nice because I remember my first year of high school, we were freshmen. I was like so scared because we were like, it's a whole new world. What is this? Like blah, blah, blah. But thankfully we had each other, so that was nice. And then now looking back, it's literally nothing. It's not a big deal. Anyways, think we had homeroom together. Yeah, I didn't have it with her nor my cousin, because if you guys know, they go by alphabetical order. She was an A, I was an M, and my cousin was an S. So like completely different spectrum. I had classes with Either one of them. I want to say for sure my cousin throughout all of high school, we had no classes together because he would take like those AP classes. I'm just kidding. No, he's actually super smart. So yeah. But I want to say fast forward probably sophomore, junior year. One of those. We actually did have a class together, me and my ex-best friend. Probably the story about Lee. I think this was our first class together. I'm probably wrong, but if you guys haven't seen that story, go check it out. We did have another class. This one I do specifically remember, and I think this was our junior year. And I'll explain how I know this if my timeline's correct. Actually, like a history class, and we were allowed to sit anywhere. The teacher was like super cute and sweet. And so we sat like in the back together, and we did this every day, you know, nothing crazy until one day. This is where the story starts. I had this other friend that we'll call Yes. I knew her for a couple years, I think, for a while. That's another story in itself. This semester, while I was taking that history class, I was also taking this math class with Yes. Now, she's a key component in what happened between me and my ex-best friend. One day, I'm pretty sure I had the history class first. Yes, and my ex-best friend, if I'm not wrong, they actually had a class together as well, separately, that I was not a part of. So just keep that in mind, because this is going to come for later in the story. So I remember the day before, in the math class, me and my friend Yes were talking about, you know, just normal basic stuff. And I remember she was like, hey, do you want to come hang out? I think it was over the weekend or on Friday. I don't know. And I specifically remember we were going to go to the mall. Oh, no, I can't because something. That was it, you guys. Mind you, Yes and my ex-best friend never got along. They did not like each other at all. I don't know why. That's on them. That's it. The only common factor they had together was me in the middle. Next day, from when that conversation happened, my ex-best friend tells me, basically like, you need to be careful with Yes. And I was like, why? And it was kind of along the lines, she was talking shit about you. She was talking crap about you. And I was like, well, what did she say? And my ex-best friend was like, she said that you couldn't or didn't want to hang out with her and that you're fake because you didn't want to hang out with her. I was like, what? And to me, I was just baffled because I was like, she would never have a reason to do that because we literally, all we talked about was making plans, couldn't, that was it. Like, where was there a part where she talked shit or you know what I mean? So the story wasn't adding up. It was a little funky. But I was like, okay, let me get to the bottom of this. So I went and I talked to Yes. Because, like I said, I'm pretty sure I had history first and then I had math. So I went and I talked to her. So I told Yes. And I was like, hey. And I had to say very lightly, people are telling me because, mind you, this wasn't just my ex-best friend telling me, it was her boyfriend at the time as well. Now he's another key component to the story time, which I'll touch base in a minute. So I was basically saying people, like I had these two people telling me these things that you were talking crap about me. And I remember her first reaction because I told her what they told me, blah, blah, blah. She started like getting really upset and sad. I think almost like cried. I'm not sure. And I felt bad. And she literally didn't even respond. And I was like, okay, something's not adding up. And at that point, you guys, I was literally like, my back was up against the wall because I did not know what to do. Based off her reaction, I felt like I had an answer. But at the same time, I was like, but I have these two people telling me, I don't know. So I remember after that, like the whole class period, didn't say anything. We didn't talk, and it was super awkward. And we left. So after that, basically made up my mind, and I had to confront, or I guess talk to my ex's best friend, because I remember when she told me like privately. I don't remember if it was through text or person. And this time I wanted her to have her boyfriend in front of me so that I could see both of them telling me. I wanted to hear it from the horse's mouth. Both of them. Because, like, which one of you is making this shit up? Or do you know what I mean? So I remember I tried respectfully the next day to try to kind of get all of them together. Because, like I said, nobody got along with anybody. And I was like, we're meeting up in the courtyard in the morning, because our high school has this thing where you guys can meet up in the courtyard before classes and like just hang and chill, whatever. I think Yes was too upset to go that she didn't. I don't remember, because all I remember is I was in front of my ex-best friend and her boyfriend. But you guys, the whole time her boyfriend was literally mute, quiet, zip. Now, with her boyfriend, I had seen the kid one time because we had like a special education dance. I actually have a picture of it. There's proof. And he was in the photo, which is weird now that I think about it, because like I said, didn't even talk to him, didn't even know this kid. I went with one of my really good friends, and she knew him, so that's why he was like in the picture. Never clicked with him, never talked, never spoke. Even fast forward when he dated my ex-best friend, never spoke, never talked, didn't introduce each other, didn't even cross paths, words, nothing. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I had no reason to believe this kid. I didn't know you then, don't know you now, and I don't even want to know you. Straight up. Because the fact that, number one, you're a part of this girl drama, and number two, the fact that when I'm trying to get an answer and I'm trying to get the truth, homeboy is just standing there like mute, like, okay. It was just me talking to my ex-best friend. And I was like, I don't really have a reason to believe y'all, or either one of you, because she wouldn't lie and like talk crap about me when I remember the conversation we had the day before. I'm sorry, like and so I remember from there, like me and my ex-best friend kind of had like a break in our friendship, actually kind of stopped talking. And it was hard because I remember I kept going back and forth through text too with my ex-best friend, being like, I don't know who's telling the truth, I don't know what to do, blah blah blah. And then I had Yes on the other hand as well, trying to text her and being like, I'm sorry if I offended you, or I don't know if this is true, were you talking crap about me? Like, it was actually crazy, you guys. Until this day, I don't even know who the heck was lying or who was telling the truth. It was also crazy because I remember fast forward, we still had those classes together, and we had to go to the same high school, walk the same halls. So I remember I was walking with Yes, and it was like my ex-best friend and her boyfriend, and we just crossed paths, and it was just like super awkward. That we were like, it was just crazy, you guys. That was one of many little arguments, fights, whatever you want to call it, that me and my ex-best friend had. And this actually continued for a while, because I remember also, if you know, we rode the bus, so we didn't speak. We had that history class together. We didn't speak. It actually got so nasty and ugly that, remember I said that history class we sat together every morning? Well, this heifer decided to go across the room and not sit with me anymore. And I was like, and I had a really good friend in that class. His name was Eric. And I'm saying his name and I want to shout him out because he was there for me and he was such a good guy. And I had actually met him first, mind you. And I had met him previously in another class. I think it was like another history class as well. And I introduced both of them. So that's why my anger happened too, because Eric, he's really sweet and gets along with everybody. But he was kind of, playing both sides because she would only talk to him now. And I was like, and then, but obviously, he would text me too. And he'd be like, bro, what happened? Like, you guys are, and he was kind of also trying to like get us back together and stuff too, because, he was like, you guys were good friends, like, blah, 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 blah. But then I would explain to him what happened and like stuff like that. I'll put up the pictures if I have any. It almost felt like he was taking her side. I don't know. It's stupid. But I was just like, whatever, you don't get it. So bad too, because like I said, that history class was so dang hard that that whole thing happening just like was not necessary at all. The worst part too was when we were in class and stuff. And it was bad, you guys, because everybody knew we were good friends and everybody could tell when like something happened because I was all the way over here and she was like all the way over here. And she would always be, that's something that, I'm sorry if you're watching this, I don't know, I don't care. She would always try to be the loudest person in the room, and it's like, why? And there's another story that I'm gonna tell that proves this. And like laughing and giggling in the back because she sat in the back, and I was just like, I'm not trying to victimize myself, but I was by myself and like really hurt about the situation. Do you know what I mean? While she was over there in the back laughing and living her best life, it almost felt like, bro, like you're really doing so good without me. And actually, this is when I made two other really good friends that I want to shout out. Their names were Dylan and Mo. Dylan, really quick, he had a big, huge crush on me since like I can remember. So it was cute and it made sense how he was there for me. And I remember he like sat, like we were sat next to each other, and he would always just be like, just ignore it, like you're fine, like because he knew too, because I ended up telling both of them because me, Dylan, and Mo, we had the same PE class as well. And so I told the both of them. And even with Mo too, she always kept it real. And that's something that I always try to do as well. So when I told them, they were like, dude, she's in the wrong. Or like, I don't need people taking my side though either. Just as long as me out, and that's all I needed, and they were there for me. So, and in the end, thankfully, we all, by the grace of God, passed that class. So it was such a big relief. You guys don't even understand. And that was that. So fast forward. So mind you, that was like junior year. We had those semesters, didn't speak at all, whatever. Everything changed because also how I mentioned before previously, how you were allowed to meet up in the courtyard or whatever. We actually had a spot because me and my ex-best friend, well, she had a group of friends. I think it was like 3 of them, 4. They called themselves the squad. And I knew them through her. And so we would all, every morning, we would meet up in that spot. Sometimes we would go out to the courtyard. Sometimes we would. And everything changed from there. Like not that I wasn't allowed to like talk or hang out with them, because I did, but like I just, senior year, had a class together, and this one was math. And I say these names very basic, but you guys, they had like crazy like algebra, blah blah blah. You know what I'm talking about. But it was a math class. Again, super extremely hard, to the point where, sorry not sorry, but everyone in that class got together and, like, if you know, you know. I think that's actually probably how we rekindled, because like I said, everyone in that class got together and like did the damn thing. No, but actually that class was weird because the way it was set up, you were almost forced to have to sit with people, because it wasn't those basic like rows, you know. They were like in groups of 3, 4, 5, whatever. I remember like the first day, sat by myself, and she was in the back with a group of friends. Eventually though, thankfully, people gathered around me and we all sat together and whatever, kumbaya. You guys saw my previous video, Leonardo makes the cut, because he was also in that class. I remember him, his nosy, also asking me, why aren't you guys friends? And I was like, and I literally had to tell him like long story, bro. I think I did tell him we were cordial, me and my ex-best friend, in that class, because it wasn't the same, obviously, but we were trying. I would like to say at that point we were trying to like fix things, right? So I was wrong. So one night, this is our senior year, these big football games, and I had never been to a football game. So she was like, hey, do you want to go, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But it wasn't just gonna be me and her, it was gonna be me and her and like other people. Okay, that's cool, fine, whatever. I'm just gonna have to name them by their first letter of their names, because I don't have time to think about code names. But it was me, my ex-best friend, Jay, which was her neighbor, and she was like a little younger than us. We also rode the bus together. M, who was new, and like we were in the same grade. And then L, who was actually my friend, the friend that knew her ex-boyfriend from the special ed dance, and super sweet, love her. And then the last person, you guys aren't even gonna believe this. This girl, I forgot her name, but she was the ex-girlfriend of her ex-boyfriend, of my ex-best friend's boyfriend. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah, that doesn't tell you anything about my ex-best friend. I don't know what does, because mind you, they had beef, and they obviously like not physically fought, but you know, over him. And I don't know, it was just like a mess. So I was like, why are y'all hanging out, like in my head? But anyways, I found out these people were going when literally like I got in the car, and it was like a big group of us, and that M girl was driving, and we pulled up to my ex-best friend's house, and we all got ready there and everything. It all just happened so fast. I left my backpack at my ex-best friend's house, because I was like, oh, I'll just come back and get it. We all got ready there. M dropped us off, because they were gonna like go pick up that girl that was the ex of the ex of the they were gonna come back. So the only ones there at my ex-best friend's house were me and my ex-best friend. And Jay, literally the neighbor, she obviously was next door getting ready, so she joined us like a little bit later. So the reason why I say this is because it's crucial to the story. Me and my ex-best friend, I remember she was getting ready, you know, she was like done, and I was like, oh, can you do my makeup? And Jay joined us a little bit after everyone else, basically. And I remember M, she like literally sits down and she's like, all right, start doing my makeup. And I was like, mind you guys, my ex-best friend didn't even finish with me, and like had no choice but to start on this other heifer. So right there, that was also like That was something that threw me off from that day. But I was like, okay, whatever. I can do my own makeup. But what was interesting and sweet, like, oh, I'll finish doing yours. And I was like, oh, no, you don't have to. But she was like super sweet about it. And so I was like, okay. It was so like, such like a trippy moment. So she helped me with mine. And mind you, I also had defended my ex-best friend from this girl. So it was kind of like super awkward, but whatever. Jay, the neighbor, she was already ready. Elle, my good friend, she was already ready. So the theme for this football night was pajama, I guess you could say, because they always had like themes. And so of course, M, she pulls out this set of 2 onesies. Who do you guys think got those 2? M and my ex-best friend. And so they were gonna twin, they were gonna match. Cute. Like, okay. Because she was trying to like show it off, like, oh no, like, you guys can wear it, but oh no, you don't want to, okay, then I'll wear it, kind of basically like giving us the option, but not really. So I was like, I ended up wearing this other one that I don't even know whose it was. Somebody from there. I knew, my ex-best friend knew, she knew too. I knew that she knew that there was something wrong with me, because my face says it all. So the M girl was like, all right, we're all done, let's go. Mind you, we were not, but whatever she said is what it was. So they left. They all follow along like little ducks and get in the car. Who stays behind to help my ex-best friend clean? Just me. Everybody was downstairs waiting or in the car. I don't even know. In that moment, you guys, I think was a big turning point for us too. Because at that point, we could read each other, like, and it was sad because I was the only one there to help her clean up a little bit, finish getting ready, and we left. I didn't say anything. She didn't say anything to me, but we know. We get in the car, we arrive to the game. We get off, and M, she's like, take pictures of me and my ex-best friend. Like, just them 2. So I was like, this girl. And then I was like, can y'all take pictures of me and Elle, my good, real good friend? I shouldn't have taken that picture. But anyways, we run along. They're like, it's starting, let's go. But mind you, M pulls my ex-best friend, and they're all the way up ahead. They're all the way up ahead. And it's just me and Elle, point the E-girl, the neighbor, just us, by ourselves. It was super awkward, you guys, because those 3 girls, they were from different grade levels. So, at a football game, when you're different grade levels, the seniors sit up in the front, then it's the juniors, and it's just the sophomores and the freshmen all the way in the back. I had to basically disconnect from my friend, which was super sad and annoying. And I was like, so she had to go, and I was like, bye, don't have fun without me, and like, stuff like that. And since this was my first game too, I was like, the only person that wasn't a different grade level was that E girl. So when we walked in, these 2 heifers, M and my ex-best friend, they were already there. What I do remember is the whole time, the whole night, my good friend, she had to sit up in the front with Jay, or in the back with Jay, and like, because they were younger than us. So the only person next to me, literally, was E, the girl that helped do my makeup, the girl that I defended my ex-best friend with, because she's the ex of her ex-man. Crazy. That's who I ended up with the whole night. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know her. That was the first day we met. But she was super sweet. If I talked to her, she would talk to me. And I try to make like small conversation, things like that. The whole night, it was just awkward, you guys, too, because Also the seniors, you know, they had to get hype and whatever, so they like would make a crowd, and we're just over here standing. Like, that's when it clicked to me, you guys. Although not really, band clicked, but I always knew. Sorry, just to preface, since she was the new girl at our high school, I don't know if she was trying so damn hard to fit in or what. I don't know if she thought she was the popular girl. I don't know. I don't know. But I always knew she preferred my ex-best friend. But in that moment when they were in the circle, because like obviously like I looked and I saw, and it was her and my ex-best friend dancing on each other, bopping and thotting, all these things. That's why you wanted her right next to your side, just to use her to like, because I'm telling y'all, they wouldn't get in a circle just to get in a circle. These kids did it so that the teachers and everybody around would not see them, because obviously if they were doing that shit, they make them cut it out. So I was like, oh my gosh. And the fact that my ex-best friend fell for this, or I don't even know what, but I was like, it, like, you guys, in that moment I didn't even know who she was. I swear. Did it surprise me? No. But that's not where it ends. That's not where it ends, baby girl. So I remember literally the whole effing night, you guys, I was just like, I want to go home. I want to go home. I didn't even watch the game. I don't even freaking understand football. Like, so there was a halftime. It's nice. Go to the bathroom. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Guess who comes up to me? You guys want to take a lucky guess? It was my ex-best friend. The whole night, you guys, she came up to me during like halftime. It was literally about to end, I even think. And I remember what she said to me. She was like, hey, do you want to go to the bathroom? You guys, this is where like my savage era came into play. I don't know. I really did not put up with shit anymore. I was like, why don't you go ask M? You guys, she literally stayed quiet. Mute. Nothing. She knew. And I don't know if she was just so embarrassed that like she didn't say anything, or she like tried to talk to me. But you guys, I didn't say a single word. And it felt so good. And at that point, I don't remember if E was still next to me, or she like dipped or left, or I don't know. Something. But you know who did stay with me after that? My ex-best friend. Because she knew. The game started up again, and she was next to me the whole time, because she knew, dude. I didn't even have to say anything. But the whole time she was next to me, I didn't say anything. If there was parts where we had to get hyped, I was just like, at that point, I literally was like, oh my God, I need to go. I need to leave. So I was just like, it was literally about to end. So I was just thinking like, who's going to come get me? Like, I don't want to have to go back to her house, because mind you, the backpack I had left at her house, and I needed that shit. So I was just thinking of ways of like, dude, who am I gonna call to come get me? I don't want to have to, because who was our chauffeur? The M girl. So I remember her asking me, she was like, are you gonna, I forgot what she said, are you gonna like come back at my place, sleep over, something? I don't remember. I don't even know what I said, dude. But what I do remember though is super awkward. The game was over. Did end up leaving back with M, because I mean at that point I might as well use her. And I don't remember if all of us were back in the car again. I think the only person that went their merry way was E, which good for her. I should have done the same, and I would have done the same had my backpack not been back at the place. I was silent. And she dropped off my ex-best friend. I went in, grabbed my backpack, and I left. I didn't say anything to her. Which was pathetic too on her part, because she didn't say nothing to me either. And I was like, so I got back in the car with M, And it was just me and her. See, that's what I'm saying. I don't remember, but super awkward because now I was just with me and M. And she's like, "Where do you live?" And I was just like, "Right here across the street." And so she dropped me off. And I was just like, "Thanks, bye." And she's like, "Oh my god, see you next time." Like all chippy happy. And I was just like, "This girl, get the hell out of my face." So I remember I just literally walked in. It was pretty late, so I just went in for a shower and I cried the whole time in the shower. Because it all just hit me at once. I was like holding it in, which I'm so proud of myself. I held it in for that long and I just cried and cried. And you guys want to know what was even more crap is that literally they didn't even care because I remember, I'm pretty sure it was M or it was somebody, I don't know. They made a group chat. And I remember the first text saying, "Oh my god, it was such a fun night. We should do it again. Us girls, blah, blah, blah." And I was just like, the audacity that these people have. Like, and I remember so badly, like I wanted to leave the group chat. I know I didn't respond, I'll tell you that. But I was just like, you guys, there's no way. This is a joke, right? So yeah, that was a big pivot detriment to our friendship. And what's even sad is that to this day, I don't think my ex-best friend even knows what she did. And I know you're gonna be like, but she did though, because like from what happened at the game, and she knew she did, but I never got a sorry. Like I never got anything from her. Rode the bus together. I remember she sat down next to me. Crickets, because we were the first stop also, by the way. Crickets. I didn't say a word to her. Now, mind you, I should preface by saying there was times, because like I said, we rode the bus together throughout all our high school year. There was times where I didn't even want to talk because I'm not saying I'm perfect or anything. I'm also just not a morning person. So, but she would always like love to yap and stuff. Like, again, the audacity. That's what I'm saying. It's like, girl, you knew, but I don't know if she thought like days were gonna pass by and I was gonna forget it. Like, no. And she would tell me, "What's wrong?" Like, and I remember her being like, "Fine, you're gonna act like that," and like, and like just kept being like, "If you're not gonna tell me," and I was just like, "Girl, shut up." Because literally, you guys, it's so simple. The only thing you're looking for is, "I'm sorry." Nope, she could never do that. Never do that. What was even more petty of her? You see, this is what I'm saying. She just kept piling it on. Is that like the next day, she didn't sit next to me on the bus. She sat with her neighbor, Jay. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, girl, you're something else." Way. And this is what I was saying from moments earlier where she always had to be the loudest one in the room. Every morning, mind you, this was morning time. Her and her little neighbor, loud as heck. And I was just like, girl, you don't prove anything by acting like, oh, you're good and everything's normal. If anything, you look fake as heck, petty by going and sitting with somebody else rather than being real and owning up to it and being like, "I'm sorry, I messed up." That's it. We would have pushed on our merry way. But no, you didn't want to fix anything. You didn't act like nothing happened. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. So yeah, that broke us basically. Graduated. Didn't have to ride the bus anymore. There were days where we did have to practice though for graduation. And thankfully we were in different letters because I never saw her, she never saw me. Didn't speak. But what's sad and what I want you guys to take from this is that me and this girl, yes, like I said, had good memories and bad memories. But I think like with anything, you can tell and you know, whether it's a friendship or relationship, whatever, you know when who they are or who they were or who at least you thought they were, and they start shifting or changing to something else. And it's actually really sad because it's like you don't even recognize them, you don't even know who they are anymore. And like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm sure there's plenty of times she can mention where I was like annoying or whatever. But I never, and I'm sorry, I never did anything or said anything like super extreme or, but I know I'm a good damn friend. I'm a damn good friend. So take that how you will. Me and this girl, at least on my end, I can only speak for myself. I had plans for us, you know, to go to the same college, to even be bridesmaid at our wedding one day, you know, things like that, like in the future. Like I was thinking ahead while, I don't know, homegirl was just living in the moment, which good for her. But let that all go to waste over what? Over what? He starts with a J. But that's going to confuse you guys because she had two boyfriends that started with a J, but they were two different people. So, yeah, probably should have explained that better, but whatever. That's basically everything. I mean, if I talked about everything, we'd be here till really the main points and things for me on my end that to me ruined the friendship because of certain things that happened, her actions, not apologizing. But her mom loved me, by the way, just saying. You can own up to it or not if you want to, I don't care, but I know she did. And it's sad because I bet her mom has only her daughter's version, duh, but she'll never know or hear mine, probably until now. So leave this here. I don't care when I cut you off if you're done. And yeah, after high school, I remember again we like tried to pick up the friendship again, but it was never the same. Never the same. She would text me being like, hey, like, have you decided what you're doing, where you're going, blah blah blah. And I was like, no, what about you, blah 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 blah. We texted back and forth here and there, whatever, tried, until I remember one day I texted her, never heard back from her. And this heifer had the audacity to try to request to follow me on Instagram. Like, girl, bye. So yeah, that's that. I'm sure we've all gone through something similar like this, whether, like I said, it be a friendship, a relationship, whatever. But shit happens, so that's life, whatever, I don't care. I hope you guys enjoyed this story time. And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.